Westeros is a brutal, harsh place, and in House of the Dragon, many controversial and highly unlikable characters call it home. The first season of House of the Dragon recently ended, and the series was almost immediately praised for its captivating characters and intricate storytelling. The citizens of Westeros are multidimensional and complicated, and because of the brutal world they inhabit, they all live morally gray lives. Join us as we count down the 10 most unlikable characters in this series. Keep watching. First up at number 10, Viserys, when he completely disregards his family. This takes place in episode 5 of House of the Dragon. Viserys' wife and daughter are subjected to vile, poor treatment by the man, and this makes him more than just a little controversial. He seems to come to regret his decisions, and once in a while he protects and even respects Rhaenyra, but this doesn't wipe the slate clean. The king always has a duty to provide heirs. These have to be males that can sit on the throne and females that can enter into marriages that advance the causes of the kingdom. Rhaenyra is more than suited to rule, and she has no desire to marry, but her father ignores this. Aemma, her mother, struggles to produce a male heir and is pushed to her death by the king after many miscarriages. He also makes many medical decisions on her behalf. While fans did actually feel sorry for Viserys at times, he made too many mistakes in House of the Dragon to be liked. Alicent is unlikable because she pushes a horrible agenda. Keep watching, that's up shortly. Next up is Corlys, when he proposes a certain marriage. In episode 7 of House of the Dragon, Driftmark, Corlys Velaryon sits down to conduct talks about legacy. It's not unusual for girls to marry at a very young age in Westeros, but Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, and even Viserys voice concern when Corlys puts his 12-year-old daughter, Lyanna, up for marriage to a much older man, in this case, Viserys. The marriage doesn't happen, and Corlys is absolutely furious. His pride prevents him from seeing beyond his desire for power, and he ends up allying with the more than controversial Daemon, and he leaves Rhaenys to take care of their affairs while he fights. It is now clear that Alicent may have been right when she told Rhaenys that Corlys was abandoning her. Then, when Vaemond had a temper tantrum while discussing the Driftmark lineage, already decided, remember, it gets him killed. He seeks to place himself into the position of heir and shift Lucerys out. Vaemond favors blood just as much as Corlys wants power. While Viserys was absent, it looked for a while as if Vaemond would get his way. Otto and Alicent were ruling in the king's stead at that point. Viserys then enters the hall and asks why this petition was even allowed to be brought before the court. Vaemond becomes angry and belligerent, and in front of the most powerful people in Westeros, he ends up losing his head because of his temper. The action was controversial, and he should probably have kept his mouth shut. It would have kept him alive, at least for the time being. Also, there is Alicent when she pushes a horrible agenda. Fans know that Alicent is always manipulated by Otto, her father. His greatest desire is to have his family ascend the Iron Throne, and at least in his mind, nothing can stop him. This is why Alicent is used as a pawn in his game. Even as a grown-up, she still always follows the lead of men in her circle. It would seem as if Alicent has no dreams that she truly calls her own. Beyond her father, husband, and son, she has no ambition. Under her hand, Aegon is forced onto the throne in an attempt to usurp Rhaenyra. This is done purely out of spite, and instead of breaking free from the power of men, the act reinforces their traditional power. And Aemond is highly unpopular following several poor decisions. This is mostly after he dueled with Sir Criston Cole in House of the Dragon. Over the years that followed, he became bitter and angry, and decided to inflict horrible revenge upon Lucerys. To make things even, he removes Luke's eye and toys with him. Aemond chases Luke, riding the largest dragon in the entire world after the latter departs from Storm's End on Eryx. No competition exists between the dragons, but Eryx and Lucerys die. Whether that was intentional on Aemond's part or not, it is possible he could have experienced guilt after he realized he had killed Luke, but he still threatened the boy and then chased him. Larys's creepy gazes at Alicent make him unlikable too. Keep watching to see. Next, Otto is unpopular because he uses people solely for his own purposes. Otto Hightower, one of the most unlikable and controversial House of the Dragon characters, seems to be loyal to no one but himself. As an example, he forces his young daughter to flirt with his heartbroken friend in an attempt to prey on his weakness and get the two married. His primary objective is to better the position his family is in, and he will put everything on the line to place his grandson on the Iron Throne. His plots include a scheme to have Rhaenyra, her kids, and all her allies murdered to get them out of his way and open the road for his plans to succeed. Otto is dark and dangerous, and his true intentions are always hidden behind a false smile. This makes him truly unlikable. Criston is also highly unlikable because he killed in a fit of blind rage when House of the Dragon kicks off. Sir Criston Cole has a definite interest in Rhaenyra. The pair could well have become a fan-favorite couple, but Criston is rejected, and this changes him. That's when we get to see his toxic and incredibly violent side. Criston's rage toward Rhaenyra is so intense that it blinds him. He even sets out to help Alicent with her attempts to place Aegon on the Iron Throne. Then, Larys also becomes unlikable with his creepy gazes at Alicent Hightower. Harwin Strong won the hearts of fans with his care and admiration for Rhaenyra and her kids. This happens over a whole bunch of wholesome scenes. His father, Lionel, also garners favor as an advisor to Viserys. However, Larys still chose to have them killed. He aims to gain favor with Queen Alicent. While she doesn't order or even request the death of his family, he orchestrates it anyway, in an attempt to prove his loyalty to the Queen. Because of this, Alicent invites Larys into her inner circle. It's hard to survive and thrive in Westeros, and fans get this, but everyone agrees Larys went too far. To see a few downright scary characters, watch the video until the end. And Daemon made terrible choices, and this makes him unlikable too. These bad decisions mostly come after he defeats the Crab Feeder. Remember, Daemon is naturally charming and funny. He also has an ingrained ability to lead with keen survival instincts, but he celebrates Viserys' son's death and then goes on to seduce his brother's daughter. He keeps on punishing Viserys and continues to pile heaps of unnecessary stress on his brother's shoulders. After Daemon kills wife number 1, he has a fit of laughter at the funeral of wife number 2, and then he marries his niece. The unreliability of the Daemon experience is a rough ride for viewers. One moment he is likable, and then he is simply god-awful. Then Aegon also does a whole bunch of despicable things, and this makes him unlikable. Sure, it is sad that he was neglected by Viserys, but he doesn't excuse his horrible behavior. This is but one reason he is unlikable and controversial. Because he is the king's firstborn male heir, it is natural for people to want him as their kind, but he isn't suited to rule and even admits that himself. He shows absolutely no remorse after assaulting a young girl in his employ. He has a hand in underground child fighting rings, and has fathered many kids in those circles. Additionally, he takes the crown even though he knows it doesn't belong to him, and robs Rhaenyra of her rightful place in the process. All in all, he is despicable, deplorable, and unlikable in House of the Dragon. Finally, some of the characters are downright scary too. Many of the House of the Dragon characters predate the Jon Snows or Daenerys Targaryens we came to know and love in Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon focuses mainly on the history of House Targaryen, and it befits the family motto by being full of blood and fire. A number of the really scary characters in House of the Dragon have spilled blood or committed an array of horrifying acts that shocked fans. Some of these characters have become irredeemably despised in the process, and others have earned respect. You be the judge. Aemon's festering grudge against his extended family remains one of the most terrifying things in House of the Dragon. Criston Cole's sense of entitlement is the breeding place of many acts of deceit, treachery, and violence, and as we got to know the character, it is clear the Crab Feeder truly earned his moniker. The way Alicent Hightower grew into a bitter and twisted queen is downright scary, as is the way Aegon II Targaryen abused his status. The shenanigans of Otto Hightower as he manipulates friends, family, and foe alike is highly unsettling, and the fact that Larys Strong has neither empathy nor guilt is totally unsettling. And on that scary House of the Dragon note, we end this video. Please remember to hit like, follow, subscribe, and keep looking out for our next contribution. Thanks for watching.